Hello and welcome to My Xbox and Me, episode 493. I don't know if Crash updated it. I updated it afterwards, so he could be fucking with me. Oops, not meant to swear in the beginning. We're probably getting demonetized. I am one of your hosts, MC Fixer, alongside the one and only Too Fresh Crash.
Hello.
You can't just... How many times do I have to tell you? We do an audio and a video version.
I said hello.
You can't just... Yeah, but you delayed the hello and you did the wave.
I thought you were gonna keep talking.
What?
Sometimes you keep talking.
I didn't this
Sometimes
time.
you got a bit after you introduce somebody. It's not my... No.
And of course the one, the only, Mr. I was gonna say Despawn. Mappy video. Well, I'm Matt.
Not Despawn. Despawn's dead. Fix, can I ask you to redo my intro as champion of the My Xbox and Me Game Awards predictions? Thank you very much.
We'll get to
we
that.
don't
We'll
have
get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Do you know what? Fine. You wanna do this? Fine. Forget the rigmarole. Fine. We're talking about the Game Awards today, in case you missed it. We forgot to do a prediction episode.
Yeah.
We never forget to do a prediction episode.
I want to know, Matt, would you have predicted it?
Yes.
Obviously, I would have predicted Harrison Ford on stage. I did last year. I always
Yeah, but that was
predict
last
stupid
year.
celebrity on stage.
I don't know
Yeah,
if he would
well,
have.
you would've
I don't know
predicted a
if he would
celebrity, but
have.
I wonder... I don't know if you would have Harrison Ford, because I feel like you've gotten burned by that prediction so much at this point.
I could feel it in my bones.
Do you know what? It's weird. It's like it feels like my Fight Night prediction at like E3. Like every year, I'm like, oh, we're getting Fight Night. This year's the year we're getting Fight Night. And we never do. Like yours was like the celebrity, and you would have.
Yeah.
We openly admitted it on the stream. That like if you would have got that, we would have gave you the whole show.
Yeah.
Like 'cause that would have been crazy. That would have been crazy. But yeah, the Game Awards did happen. Me and Crash watched it together over live on the My Xbox and Me Twitch channel. I was also live as well. We did the joint chat combination string thing. What did you think, Crash? How did you like it? It was pretty good, right?
I think it worked well.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't... Sometimes features like that can feel very like forced or obnoxious. I don't think that felt forced or obnoxious.
Yeah. No, I agree. I totally agree. Making sure everything's turned up because I feel like I might not have had that turned up. Matt, let's start with you. Game Awards. Did you like it? The production. Let's start with production first. Let's not before we get into the actual meat and potatoes, the content.
Okay. Well, look, yeah, from a production point of view, I think it's almost like a couple of little audio hiccups I noticed, but like you're doing a 3.5-hour live show, like Eurovision's gonna have a couple of audio hiccups, or name any live event, like you're gonna get some cock-ups like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was really good. It was some certainly awkward production moments, like sort of Jeff almost introducing the father of PlayStation at the start, who then got up and walked toward the stage to be stopped by security, and I was like, oh no, it's like heartbreaking.
He didn't get stopped though. He didn't get stopped. He didn't get stopped by security. He walked past the security. If you go back and watch it, they let him walk past. I was kind of like,
Right.
what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, go sit
Say
down.
something? What's he gonna do?
Go sit
Yeah.
down. Go sit down. Like, what are you doing? Like, yeah.
But no, like I say, it's a live show with however many thousand people in the room. Like things like that are gonna happen. Yeah, from a production point of view, I would say like as flawless as you can expect something like this to be. Really, I even really like the like self-referential Muppets taking the piss out of Jeff. I was like, this is a good way to do this. I'm on board. I don't know if Jeff particularly liked it. I didn't get the vibe like he was leading into it all that much.
Whether he hated it or not, I think the fact that he let it happen speaks volumes.
I agree.
To
I agree.
where Jeff's come as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it worked. I think this is the best the Muppets have been and probably will ever be. Because
Yeah.
I think even if they do the same thing next year, there isn't as much to harp on about the Game Awards this year.
Yeah.
That when they bring it back next year, because they most likely will, I don't think it would hit the same as it did this year as well.
I don't know if you can. I don't know if you should necessarily bring back the exact same thing. The thing I was thinking is like you could get like a Ben Starr up there taking the piss, like that you go to every now and again to take the piss out of the show, or somebody from the game industry, even like a Troy Baker or something maybe. But Fix doesn't like that idea.
I don't like either of those two people for that idea. I like that idea, but not those two people personally.
Well, I don't necessarily know who else you do, unless you did the exact same thing again, just did the Muppets.
Not the Muppet. No. But to stick on the Muppets before we transition, like, I agree with you. This was, if we're gonna see the Muppets at these shows, that has to be the delivery. It has to be satire. It has to be just absolutely ripping Jeff and the show itself a new one. Like, we don't want them in stupid ads. We don't want them in, whatever else. That was the perfect use for something like that, in my opinion.
I agree. And I think because until they did it, I didn't realize the Game Awards was missing a bit of that. Like, you look at most other award shows, the Oscars, the Golden Globes, they hire comedians to host those things, typically because that's part of the show is like, hey, we're going to come out here and do a 10-minute monologue where we're ripping the shit out of a Leonardo DiCaprio and a Robert De Niro and stuff. And then we'll drop other jokes in throughout. But because Jeff has always hosted it, it's never had that vibe. And it needs a bit of that levity and a bit of that self-referential, like, we're all just pretty well-paid people who still have their jobs in the industry here patting each other on the back for the night when it's been a rough year. And so, like, I think, like, the Muppets were a great balance to that. I think giving Sven, Larian's CEO, the time at the end to kind of make his speech.
Yeah.
Whether or not he wrote that or somebody wrote it, who knows? But like, yeah, I thought that was good and poignant. And there were a couple of moments where you just go like, oh, it's a really well put together show at this point. Like, they've got 10 years of experience, right? And it probably helps to have Jeff be at the head of that 10 years of experience and not have that leadership change, so that you can really refine the thing. Because if you just had a different team doing it every year, you probably wouldn't get that amount of refinement. So yeah, look, they've nailed it, I think, as far as much as they could have.
Yeah, no, I echo probably most of what you just said, to be honest with you. I think from a pacing perspective, oh my god, I thought it was perfect. Like, generally, I did think it was perfect. Other than, I'm gonna say perfect. I'm gonna say perfect because not to be mean to some of the stuff that I didn't care about, but you do need toilet break moments in a 3.5 hour show. You need it, sure. Right? I thought the only thing I would like more, I don't think they'll ever do it because I think it's a little bit too on the nose otherwise. I wish they would make it very clear what is an ad and what isn't. Like just a little watermark, like, in the bottom corner, very tiny faint of, like, you are being served an ad right now. Because usually you can tell, right? But because it's a game show about showing games with more game ads, just something, and that's, I'm very much nitpicking at that point.
I think the difficulty with that is something can be an ad and still belong in the show at the same time.
Can it?
Like, you can have something show up at an ad and somebody pay and be like, hey, we want to be on the show, but they still give you an actual showing. And so I think labeling that as an ad is sort of like, turn off your brain for this and just skip it when maybe it doesn't deserve that. Right?
That's true.
So I think just the fact that it's a game, a show about games, it makes that a little bit difficult. But I do get what you're saying, because there was a lot of, I'm sure if you go through this with a fine, like, looking at everything, you can find stuff that were ads that didn't appear to be ads, right?
Yeah. Like, that's just me being super picky, right? Go on, sorry.
Yeah.
I think you'd have it almost all the way through. Like, I think you'd be surprised at how much money, or at least favors, are changing hands over this stuff.
I think this year's probably the most obvious of favors, if I'm being honest. This year's felt very much like a, Jeff, we got you because it's the 10th year. You better not ask us next year, though.
Oh, maybe, yeah, maybe. I was thinking about the Elden Ring stuff, right?
Of course, yeah.
I haven't been on the show to talk about when you guys talked about whether or not Shadow of the Erdtree should be in Game of the Year. I very strongly feel like it shouldn't be nominated in that category. But I think it does lift the curtain a little bit to go like, look, who knows what goes on behind closed doors? This is all speculation. I know nothing. But, like, you've got to assume that Jeff's gone to them and gone, hey, have you got anything to show off for the Game Awards? And they've gone, yeah, actually, we got a brand new game. Cool, we can nominate you for Best Expansion for Shadow of the Erdtree. Oh, no, that's not good enough.
You've got to imagine there's a conversation that happens about it, right?
And so it lifts the curtain on that stuff a little bit, I think. And then you go, like, yeah, like, that's what I mean. Like,
fair trade, though.
What's it called? Night Rain? Night Rain is not an ad, right?
Yeah.
But everybody's winning. Do you know what I mean? Even if there was no money exchanged hands, everybody's getting a lot of commercial win out of that thing. And
No,
so
100%.
there may well have still been money exchanging hands for it. Like that wouldn't surprise me either. So like, yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I think like the way that things are structured make things obvious when it's an ad a lot of times. But you're right, like there is definitely levels to that, and
Next year,
I don't
Matt,
think you'll ever see it.
we going? I said next year is the only chance I have to go. I think next year is the only way, because I've got to imagine I'm going to have a Sprock running around relatively soonish. You know?
You have some control over that, Fix. You should, yeah.
I don't. If I had control, I wouldn't be having one. Period.
Maybe. It's interesting, right? Like, so we covered it, and by covering it, I mean we're like clipping stuff for TikTok,
Yeah.
YouTube Shorts while we're watching it, and then coming up with ideas for like the next week or so. And we got some decent wins out of it, specifically on TikTok. Like YouTube for us at the moment is a nightmare, but that's a different conversation. So we were talking about whether or not we cover it. A lot of people, like the Mail online, have been really leaning into their video game coverage. And a lot of their stuff did really well, and it's them filming the exact same stuff, but from the crowd. And it just feels more organic. And like we have brands like Tom's Guide, Tech Radar that go to like Apple events. And yeah, you could clip the stream, but it feels more organic and does better video content-wise if you're on the ground. So I think there's an interesting conversation to have next year around whether or not we go. What GameSpot did, I think, was amazing. Like their pre-show, they did like a pre-show thing. They had like a studio on the red carpet, and we're getting like Sam Lake and Sven to sit down and chat for a bit together, and Lucy James is hosting it and stuff like that, and it was really good, and it was really slick and well together. Next year, I think Behind the Curtains peak, I think it's exclusive for you guys.
World
FGS
exclusive.
are looking to do more of that sort of stuff at events, and so like I think there is potential that we go to the Game Awards. The difficulty is we are the small version of the Game Awards, right?
Yeah.
Like we have our showcases that compete with Opening Night Live. We have our awards show that competes with the Game Awards. Certainly not on the same scale.
Yeah.
But that's the ambition, right? And so like whether or not we'd ever get invited into that room, I don't know.
I'm talking about just going though. I'm talking about me, you, Crash, and D-Sport just rocking up.
Well, that's unlikely to be able to happen because I will be working it regardless.
If we book it off right now, they'll forget. They've already announced the date. They've already announced the date. If you book it off right now, your work will forget, and then we'll be able to. You'll be there. They'll be like, "Why are you there?" You'll be like, "Oh, because I'm chilling with my homies."
They can't say anything if you say you're chilling with your homies.
If you're chilling with your homies,
that's the law.
What else can they say? What else can they say?
That's one of those UK law rights that we have that you don't have, Crash.
Yeah. Chilling. If you're chilling with the homies, you get a week off.
Yeah, we got freedom. You guys got chill. It's looking way better right now. What you guys got?
Honestly, chilling with the homies over freedom. Honestly, Jesus. All right, let's get into some stuff that actually did happen. Obviously, we're talking Game Awards the whole time, so that's the topic of the show and all the conversations. Should we do awards first before we do the actual announcements? We'll do these relatively quickly because obviously there's a lot. Best VR game was Batman. Stop me if you want. Stop me if there's something interesting you want to talk about. Yeah. Cool. Best VR game, Batman Arkham Shadow. Innovation in accessibility went to Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. Best sports/racing game went to EA FC. Best score/soundtrack went to Final Fantasy Rebirth. Best performance went to Melina Juergens, which was Hellblade 2. Best indie went to Balatro. Best adventure game went to Astrobot. Community support went to Baldur's Gate 3. Best fighting game went to Tekken 8. Best family game went to Astrobot. Audio design went to Hellblade 2. Games for Impact was Never. Best art direction went to Metaphor Fantasio. Best role-playing game, same as well, Fantasio. Best action game, Black Myth Wukong. Most anticipated, GTA 6. Best multiplayer game, Helldivers 2. Narrative went to Fantasio also. And then Astrobot won... What is this?
Game direction.
Okay, thank you. Best game direction went to Astrobot. Best independent game, Balatro. Best ongoing game, Helldivers 2. Content creator, Queso. Best adaptation went to Fallout. Player's voice went to Black Myth Wukong. That was the one that was voted for by strictly players. And then last but not least, Game of the Year, Astro Bot, which I guess will be the big conversation to be had. Okay, who's played Astro Bot? Is it just you've played it? You beat it or not yet?
I have. So, like, I have a friend who really likes Platinum games, but isn't necessarily.
Is your friend on this podcast all of a sudden? What the hell have they got to do with this?
Isn't necessarily the best at those sorts of games.
Yeah.
So they were like, hey, I need all these speedrunning levels done. Or not speedrunning levels, but these like challenge levels done. So I've actually done the hardest bits of the game for them without playing a lot of the rest of the game.
That doesn't help us for this conversation, I have to be honest.
But what it does do is give you like a relatively good overview of the game. Like I think it's absolutely deserving to have won this.
You're sounding like Despawn on this one. Yeah, you've played the game, but you haven't really played the game.
I haven't played a lot of the other games in the category.
No, I
Metro,
know.
Fantasio,
Well,
I played like an hour or whatever. But
okay, all right. Well, look, I think I was surprised by it at the showcase. If you watched our reaction, which is on YouTube, you can watch it now. Yeah. I think the bigger topic, so we'll get back to that. The bigger topic is seeing all the gamers out there that are going, what the hell is an Astrobot? Have you guys seen this?
I mean,
Yeah, but I mean,
that is wild.
To a degree, the same thing happened with Baldur's Gate last year as well.
yeah,
Did it?
and Balatro.
Yeah,
When
Well,
Balatro
no.
got nominated, a lot of people are like, "What the hell is Balatro?"
Well, no, Balatro I can understand, but to not know, to not know that what Astro like from. I'm talking about from like reputable quote unquote influencers / gamers, like people who I respect that are tweeting out like, what's Astrobot? I've never seen this before. I'm like, what? It's crazy.
But like these are Call of Duty Warzone people. These are Fortnite people. These are FIFA people, right? It's like you're not in the world in the same way, right? Like you're also not going to watch the Game Awards, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're not going to care that Naughty Dog announced their new game at the end of the Game Awards.
Me
You're
either.
not that guy. You know, like, well, okay, that's a different conversation. But like, you're not that kind of gamer. Like, you can get on Twitter and go, "What the fuck is Astrobot? Why wasn't Warzone nominated?" Or like whatever. We know that.
Yeah. It was
Like,
just surprising.
Astrobot, for Sony, I think we all agree. Like Astrobot, like they've kind of like found their Mario now. Like, I think if they really lean into Astrobot, they're never gonna get there because Mario's been around for 40 years. But like, they found the way that they can celebrate their franchise in a way that feels authentic, that people are excited about.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'm not giving you Mario. Okay, I'll give
Sure.
you describe that way better than saying Mario. So I'm gonna give
And
you
also,
that. All right.
Sony are absolutely gonna fumble it. Like, there's gonna be an Astrobot TV show that nobody fucking cares about.
To be fair, Nintendo fumbled that at a time where fumbling like that didn't matter, right?
What, like
Yeah.
in the 90s?
Yeah,
The movie?
yeah, they had
sure.
TV
But what
shows.
I mean is
all
like
that.
the Super Mario Bros. Movie that came out,
No.
what was it, 2 years ago or whatever? It was like actually good. And
Amazing.
people thought it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
shit, but it was
Amazing.
actually really good.
Amazing.
And so like people are excited for a sequel. Sony will try that kind of thing and fuck it. I'm relatively confident.
Well,
Although, and again, this is a different conversation, but like Secret Level's pretty good, and Sony have obviously got a fair amount of stock in that. And so like maybe they won't fumble it. I don't know. But yeah. I think like Astrobot really should mean something to Sony at this point.
It does.
Over the next 10 years, I think those same people won't be saying that same thing of who the fuck is Astrobot.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I think they've got a real opportunity to build something really special here. I think what they already have is incredibly special. What it did for the launch of the PS5 and now, you know, this year with Astrobot, I think is phenomenal. And so yeah, I'm excited to see what comes next. And you know, it's a team of like 65 people is so impressive to pull off something like that. So I think it's well deserved.
Well, I beat it. I loved it. 10 out of 10 game, 100%. I don't know. It's just. We got some questions about this later on in the show, so I think we can put a fork in this for now and come back to it, because I think I'll be able to express what I'm thinking later on in the show when it comes to that. So yeah, let's do that. Should we do some announcements then, boys? Everything that got shown at the Game Awards. This is not in order.
Yeah, this starts from pre-show.
This is
Yeah, this is all-
this is all the pre-show.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
We
The
could-
pre-show
first probably
ends
10 of these
with
are pre-show.
Witcher. If you want to go to
The first
Witcher
one,
4.
thank you. Yeah, we're just starting from there. If you want to hear about pre-show stuff, I don't know, go find another podcast.
Well,
go on. You got wait. If you got something you want to talk about, please do.
I thought Thick of Thieves was an interesting one. This is from the team that made Dishonored.
Yeah.
And it's like a multiplayer competitive heist game.
Yes.
A few of these have come out over the last few years. None of them have broken the mainstream
gaming.
in any significant way. But I watched that and went, I think that could be a real laugh. And it comes from a team with serious pedigree. So
I think you've hit the nail on the head, though. I think that could be a real laugh for about an hour.
yeah,
And I think
Yeah,
that's the
I'm with you.
issue. Again, we live in this world of like, especially me and you, because again, we pay for so very few amount of games,
Yes,
right?
true,
That we
true.
are able to get a game from publisher and play it for an hour and go, that was fun. Where other people obviously do not have that luxury, right?
Sure,
Like this,
sure.
if this, and it's not launched on Game Pass, but this just seems like one of those perfect Game Pass games where like you would download it, you would
Yes.
play it, you would enjoy it for an hour or two with friends, probably uninstall it, and then someone says, "Should you want to play that again?" and you've reinstalled it again. That's
Yeah.
what I got from it. I do agree with you though. Very good pedigree of a studio. That yeah,
One more pre-show game that I wanted
Please,
specifically
please,
to get
please.
your thoughts on, Fix. Rematch, the soccer game
Oh.
from the Seafood developers.
Yeah, it doesn't look great, I have to say. Another game that if it was on Game Pass, I would be like, yo, we should all jump on and play, but there's no way, right? It doesn't, it looks very clunky. It's weird to see a football game like this exist in 2024, if I'm being honest with you. I thought they were going to really go for it and do, because obviously I saw like from the creators of Sifu and stuff, I thought they were going to do red card football. And I don't know if you know what red card
Yeah.
football is. Do you know?
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
ever, that's what I thought they were going to do, or like kung fu football, or
Yeah.
something in that nature. And then it was like a bog standard football game, and I was like, not as impressed, not as excited at all. Where like kung fu football with like the seafood like mechanics, and you've got like two guys in the corner over there fighting each other while another guy's trying to score a goal, and then you've got your teammates screaming at him like, he's trying to score a game. Like that to me sounds fun. This clunky, weird soccer game that they're calling it soccer, not me, seems strange.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, this is so far from what I would have wanted from that studio. I agree. I think it's like, why is this not more crazy? Like, it's barely even like FIFA Street crazy.
It's not FIFA Street. It's literally
Like passing on
Rocket
balls
League.
occasionally and-
Okay. Yep. Sorry.
I got.
Yep, you're
so,
right.
Like, I
you're
got
right.
some FIFA Street vibes. Like, they were doing some tricks
There's no
and stuff, you
street
know, like-
though.
Well, yeah, true. You're in a jungle or whatever. Like,
FIFA
I thought visually,
Dome.
like, it's stunning. I love their art style. You know, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but the secret level episode of Sifu is like one of the best. It's stunning,
Okay.
and it makes me want more of that. And then they showed this, and I was like, that is so not what I wanted. Like, but I guess like you made a successful game. Like, you can't deny how good Sifu feels to play. I guess if you can translate that to a football game, and that's something you and the team are passionate about, go for it. Rocket League makes a shitload of money. You've got the formula for what to do with a battle pass and a cosmetic and a whatever. And I don't know.
I will say one of the benefits of Rocket League though is the amount of players it takes to fill up a match. Is that with a smaller player, like if the player base ever dwindles, something like Rocket League won't hurt as much because it doesn't take as many players. Whereas this is 5 people on each side, I think,
Yeah.
or something like that.
But it's probably very
It'll fill with
easy
bots.
to. Well, it can fill with bots, and I bet you it's very easy to have a switching mechanic like any FIFA game, right?
Well, I'm sure, but I think the problem ends up being is that the sort of game, like if this game's going to survive, it's going to survive off the back of like how Rocket League did. Rocket League is a competitive game.
Mm.
People play it for fun and jokes and whatever. That game survived off of people taking that game very seriously.
Yeah.
And I think if this game ends up going to the territory of needing to do that to survive, I think the amount of players it takes could be a problem for it
I agree.
in the long run.
There is something interesting in going like FIFA or EAFC. I don't think is like
Award-winning.
Good...
Award winning
I don't think is a very good like
game.
It doesn't make you feel like you're playing football, right? You're playing as an entire team. It's very like
you're not. We play a mode on Friday nights called Pro Clubs, where you play as one player, where you feel like you're playing football.
Does it put you over the shoulder?
You can't. Well, there's different camera angles. I don't play with that one.
Okay. I think there's something interesting about like not letting you see the entire pitch, like making you like focus as a character to like have some awareness of the field. Do you know what I mean?
FIFA has that. FIFA has that. You got the pro camera. Okay. There's a pro camera where it's very not the sweats. I play it in career mode. Like if I'm playing career mode, that's how I play. I play on the pro camera, so it feels like I am the player, and I can't see what's behind me constantly and stuff like that. I do that on career mode, but not when I'm playing competitively online. So it does exist. It does exist. I just want to, before the comments eat you alive, be like, that's already a thing. It is kind of already a thing.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, the other one to mention while we're here is probably Slay of the Spire 2, which was obviously shown as well. I'm not a Slay of the Spire. Oh God, words. Slay of the Spire 2 fan. I didn't play the original. Chris, you said during the live stream as well, you didn't play this?
No, I played the original.
Oh, you did play it. Okay, sorry. I must be thinking of something else. Excited for this then, both of you?
Yeah.
Sound it. You sound it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm looking forward to it. I guess excited is like a bit of a overstatement. I'm looking forward to it. I'll play it. I enjoyed the first enough.
Yeah, like I really enjoyed the first as well. I guess when I saw this, I was like, I'm not seeing anything different or new here. Am I wrong?
I don't know what the DLC classes are, but one of the classes is one of the old main classes.
One of the classes
enemies and stuff like that. I like. Okay. That's so hard to gauge off of just like the gameplay clip we got, right?
I guess, but like
that is the cards, everything would have like what's different.
Well, exactly. I was surprised that there was like like everything looks the same, like exactly the same. Everything, like I say, I just didn't see anything new that I was like, oh, I should definitely get back into that.
Visually, Slay the Spire 2 looks better than the original.
Do you think?
Like, yeah, by a pretty big margin. Put them side to side, please. Put them side to side. Maybe I'm crazy, but I remember Slay the Spire not looking as good.
Okay.
Like I think the graphics look cleaner and whatnot, and I don't know if that warrants like a sequel, right?
I was more excited for Slay the Spire 2 before I saw Slay the Spire 2.
Damn.
That's fair. I think a good thing to point out with Slay the Spire is I don't think it's being made on Unity anymore, and they spent a good chunk of time developing on Unity originally, and so they had to redo a bunch of stuff, which might be why you might not see as many new things. But don't quote me on that. I don't know if they stuck out not building on Unity.
Fair enough. All right, let's skip to the main show. The Game Awards kicked off with a brand new first look of a game. You may have heard of it. It's called The Witcher. The Witcher 4 is real. We knew it was in development, and honestly, boys, this trailer got me super, super amped up and ready to go to play this game. It actually made me want to go and watch the last season with Henry Cavill as Geralt as well. I do actually like the Witcher TV show. I didn't watch that last season because I know it's the last season with Henry Cavill. So I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to carry on watching this afterwards. So why should I care? So
are you not going to carry on watching it?
No.
Out of some solidarity with Henry Cavill, or
I think that's part of it. I think part of it's that because again, I like when there's passionate actors who care about something.
Sure.
I like watching. You can tell. Usually you can tell, right? And I think the first 2 seasons with that you can tell. Again, I haven't watched the full, so I don't know. But what come out from that? Yeah, no, not just that. I don't think Liam Hemsworth is a amazing actor. If I'm being totally honest, I think he's a capable actor, way better than me. I'm not judging him on compared to me. Let's be honest. But I just don't see. I need to see him as Geralt before I go. Okay, I'm in or out. I guess you know.
Sure.
But back to the game. I don't want to be negative before I be positive, but again, I'm not going to be negative. What's wrong with the internet right now? What is wrong with games and internet and everyone calling everything woke and everyone bothered by like everything?
People saying this is woke.
Everyone's pissed that it's Siri because it's Siri.
I mean, what did people expect?
It's like they didn't play The Witcher 3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like,
They probably
that's
played
wild.
like the first 5 hours and then stopped.
okay, yeah. I guess if you
They
didn't
probably
make it to the end of that.
Triss or whatever, and then left.
Yeah. I mean, to talk about the trailer, amazing, right? We all agree?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
Which-
mean,
not
Go on, Rush.
surprising. Witcher 3 had amazing CGI trailers, so seeing that
Yeah.
carry over into Witcher 4 is really dope to see.
It just hit everything right for me. Like, the storytelling was there, the world building was there, obviously having us like know who we're playing as nice and early on, so we can be ready and speculate. Yeah, I think my biggest worry for this game is ultimately its polish. It really is. I'm
Yep.
like, the Witcher 3 came out and again I remember playing it and then stopping and then going back and finishing it when probably towards the end of the year to talk about it for Game of the Year talk, and then absolutely loving it, right? I'm just worried, and I have no reason to be because we don't know, right? But I'm worried that this isn't going to come out as polished as it needs to be, and I hope I'm wrong. But from the trailer itself, I absolutely loved it. Yeah, just emotionally, it was there as well, right? I've just said about tone and all these other things, but the storytelling, the emotion, and it was just like, yeah, the subtleties. I went and watched this a few different times, and obviously, chat ends up pointing it out to us, but it's like, if you don't pay attention, you don't realize they blind the dad in that trailer. Like, like he's just totally like, you might be so laser focused on the fact that his daughter's being killed that you just like you miss it altogether. That like the father's just been through hell as well. Like crazy, absolutely mental.
it's that end with her turning to them and be like, there are no gods here, just like going after
Yeah.
them. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is Witcher. Like this is
Yeah.
you nailed it. Like this is exactly what it's supposed to be. Are you like Crash? Are you really into the Witcher games? Did you play them?
Yeah, I really like
You're
them
back?
a lot. Yeah.
Like,
Did you
do
play them
think you were
all, or
excited about it? Or
I played Witcher 2 and 3. I have
Yeah.
never played Witcher 1. I will
interesting.
never play Witcher 1. I'm just gonna.
I've always bounced out of them.
Oh,
Really?
I've never made it more than like 10 hours into a Witcher game.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm hoping this will be the one that changes my mind.
It won't be.
Cool.
It
might be,
it won't be unless you want it to be. I think that's the truth of
Well,
it, right?
Yeah.
What puts you off of? What
I
gets
don't
you off
know.
after
Well,
10 hours?
What gets you off after a long day at work?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely remember feeling with The Witcher 3, like, I don't know what's happening, and there are way too many icons pulling my attention. I really loved the
Okay.
idea
Yeah.
that it was difficult and that I needed to prepare for fights and that this, that, and the other. But I just felt like it was just throwing too much at me.
Well, be ready because this is going to be the
Well-
exact same thing. So
The icon thing, hopefully they figure out a better system for that. Because I do think it was overwhelming.
I loved it. The question marks just gave me that level because it gave me that itch of like, oh, I should explore over there, and
But
there's a
I-
reward for exploring over there.
I think there's better ways to do it. Or
How?
ways that you can make the player. Am I a game developer? Fix, you say this all the time. I'm not a game developer. I just think there's better ways to do it.
I respect it. I respect
It's
it.
just
I
one of
respect
those where
it.
it becomes very overwhelming for a player. So there has to be a better way to do it. I don't know what the better way to do it
Yeah.
is.
Okay. I respect that.
It is difficult, and you want people to find stuff. You want there to be like maybe even having a setting where you can turn those off and like have it just be like permanently off in the setting system. Like no question marks. Tell me what's missing in this area, and I can go searching in the area to find it or something like that. Just
But is that
something
any
along those
better?
lines.
That seems like it's 100 times worse.
Yes, it's better for somebody who gets overwhelmed by the question marks.
Okay.
I think
100%. 100%. If Matt's getting turned off by the question marks and he wants to get turned on, turn them off. You know?
Okay, got it.
I like it. I like it. I think
Play with his nipples.
I'm also a very different kind of gamer now, right? Like, you know, like I always say, Fallout 3 was one of my favorite games of all time. That does that, right? That is icon overload. but it was 2008, and I had all the time in the world, and I fucking loved it. 2015, maybe it was a different time in my life. That's when The Witcher 3 came out. 2025, Matt, or let's face it, 2028, Matt. When do we think Witcher 4 is coming out?
7.
Do you think
2027? Yeah.
I'm a different kind of gamer. You know, like I almost started to get this feeling playing Indiana Jones of like, oh, you're throwing too much shit at me. I don't care.
Oh.
And then I realized I don't care. I'm just gonna fucking move on with the
I
next
think-
main objective point instead of doing all these other things.
And I think that's what you have to learn as a gamer when you get to our age.
Yeah.
I think, and the only reason why I got through all of Dragon Age, like all the side quests and stuff, is because I was streaming it. If I was not streaming that game and it wasn't my job to play video games for a living, right, I would have mainlined that game. But I will say it would have ruined the entire experience for me.
But I think, like, and this is what I did with Baldur's Gate. It was like, this is my story. Like, I'm playing this kind of character, and this kind of character might see a burning town over there and not bother going to check it out. Like, and I can like sort of justify it that way in my head. And then I get the story that I get at that game, and that's okay. And so I think what I'm hoping is I'll have that with The Witcher. It's kind of I dumped out of Cyberpunk in the same way that it was just like, this is just too overwhelming, too much.
They do have Cyberpunk has it in a different way where they show all the shops all the time and all the NCPD stuff. Like it's overwhelming in a different way. So I will say this: I don't think Witcher 4 will be any different.
No, I
think it'll be in the same vein.
I think I can approach it differently, is what I'm saying.
I think that's all it is, Matt. I think it's you know what type of gamer you are, right? And that's how you've got to experience it. It's like, yes, there are 10 caves over here, and there are, I don't know, a shield over there. Do you care? Like,
I just want to tell you, Matt, one of those caves could have a special item.
They will have a special. No.
A special item.
There's no could. It will have a special item.
Or it will be like, I'm really struggling with this boss, and it's like, well, 10 hours ago we told you there was this mushroom over here you should have picked up, and then you made a potion out of it, and then it makes this boss 10 times easier.
Yeah, that is that, and that literally that scenario, Witcher.
For sure.
But the trailer itself, we all enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
God,
it's just not coming out anytime soon, is it?
No, but I did think this was a great way to kick off the show, though.
Yes, especially like Jeff Keighley also set it up properly, where he's like, it's not just going to be stuff that's coming out like next year; it's the future of gaming as well. And the way the narrative behind the showcase itself, which we got past the showcase, just throw it back 1 second. The narrative behind it of like the history and the future and everything, I think Jeff Keighley knocked it out of the park this year with the whole narrative of the flow through it.
Did you want me to get up and throw it back, or?
Yeah, can you get up, throw it back real quick?
I got you, bro. I got you. Moving on, we had Elden Ring, Night Ring. Yeah, that. Ring, Night Ring.
No, Rain. I misspelled it in the title.
Night Rain. Okay.
Yeah. I misspelled it.
Okay, thank you. Oh, Reign. Not
Rain. Over his land.
Rain.
Yes.
See, this is what I just want everyone to know who's listening. This is what happens regularly. That's why I can't read properly. It's got nothing to do with my dyslexia.
Don't say that. Don't say it.
It's got nothing to do with it. All right. I popped for this game way bigger than I should have, and I think we all know. But I think we all know why. We all know Elden Ring top 5 game that year when it came out, guys. It actually was like if I played it, like should have been way higher on the list. Let's be honest. But what's been my number one critique for these games?
Co-op.
Every single time is
better co-op.
Give me a traditional co-op mode that I can enjoy these games with my friends, and I think this is probably one of the greatest genre and style of game ever. And they've done it. And the fact they've done it this quickly is the thing that I'm more shocked by, if I'm being honest with you.
Well, it's not a full-on sequel. It is a roguelike co-op game.
I don't care what it is.
Just
Like,
just adding that to
I don't give two craps if it's whatever it is, Crash. It's got co-op. It looks like it looks to be natural co-op. Again, I've done no other research in this. There's probably more information out there. I don't know. And all I'm hearing is me, Despawn can play together because you guys are gonna rush up and play it on your own. But me and Despawn can sit there and bang our head against a tree together while fighting two dragons at the same time.
I have a question. You don't think Despawn's gonna just grind this game out day one off of some FOMO type stuff?
No. I think Despawn will try to do that, get stuck, won't be
fair.
able to do it.
That's
I
fair.
won't play the game without a wiki. So so we've got we've got a few options, all right? Option 1. Me, you, and Despawn play it together.
Yeah. That's
not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
It could happen. It won't be my first playthrough.
There you go. It's not going to happen. Like I just said, it's not going to happen. Option 2 is, you know, me and Despawn play it together because you ain't good. Matt, let's be honest. Matt, come on. Stop pretending.
When is it out?
We don't.
February.
We don't know yet.
Okay. I think they said early next year, didn't they?
I mean, they can say a lot of
I
things.
believe so, but
They can say a lot of things. That make it true.
A couple of people I know who've played it. So
Oh.
PC Gamer were one of like 6 outlets to get a chance to play it. There's an article up on PC Gamer right now. I spent 6 hours hands-on with co-op, From Software, co-op, like blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I just, it's so strange to me. I'm so glad they've done it. I'm really excited for it. It's so weird that they've done it.
Why?
Where they've kind of looked at all the mods people are doing of like remixing enemies into different parts of the games and allowing seamless co-op, and they've just gone, yeah, we'll just do that. And it's like I don't know, like it feels so not From Software, which is cool, great. Let's get more stuff out there. But I don't know what this will be like.
I don't think it's going to be as good as Elden Ring, like the original Elden Ring, because obviously I think that type of experience needs the amount of time to make that, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's very obvious. And I think it's going to lack on the exploration a lot, but it's going to be very heavy on obviously like co-op and like boss
Action,
I think it might feel more like a boss rush than it will the exploration of. And I know some of the best moments in that game for you, Matt, was the exploring and I found this and I found that. As someone who didn't play the game like that and played it very much of, I know there's a seed over here, we're heading to this seed. Like, I feel like this is a better version for me.
also in a somewhat of a sense, it is the Souls games Astrobot as well, because you're having bosses from old Dark Souls games in that game.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it is sort of
okay.
like I think it is a celebration of everything they've done up to now. And then I also think it means we're not getting Elden Ring as their next game, would be my guess.
Yes, I agree.
Can I add one more thing onto that?
Yep.
I
go
think
for it.
this is I think we're going to see more and more and more stuff like this in the games industry because it allows publishers to extrapolate more money out of these tentpole titles, but reduce the time in which it takes to produce said title. And I don't hate it. And I don't hate it. If it's good, well, I'll be the judge of it when we actually get to play it, right? But I don't hate it.
I also think we got the first actually trial run of this type of game with in God of War Ragnarok, which had basically this without the co-op. You had a roguelike mode where you fought through bosses. It was the free update. Yeah. So I think it is very much in that vein, except you'll be paying for this one, and that one was a free DLC. I'm sure this will be more expansive than the DLC was for Ragnarok as well.
I think it's also a really interesting look at From Software going like, I think you really like understand the Elden Ring hit a level that none of your other games have in the streaming community. Because what this allows is Kai Cenat to pick up 4 of his best buds and probably have one of the biggest streaming weekends ever recorded. And it's because they're all playing this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think... I don't, who knows if that kind of conversation was actually had, but like it feels like they've really looked at what Elden Ring did and gone, right, how do we turn that up to 11? You know, it's already like biggest thing in the world. How do we get it even to the next step? Like, it's really interesting. I can't wait to get my hands on it and try it out. But yeah, I don't think it's necessarily like what I would be really looking forward to from Software's next thing.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think it feels like a publisher game more than a FromSoft game, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me, and I'm not. I don't hate it, by the way. I'm just saying that's what it feels like. I don't. Maybe I'm not in the studio. I don't know. I don't know what the team. Did you think the team were like, "Yo, I know, let's make this," or do you think Bandai were like, "Hey, can you make something like this?" Because I would say it's the latter.
It would depend how many people from, like, how big was the team, because I could see a small group of people being like, oh, we saw those mods are really cool, I wish we could implement them in our own game. And then Bandai come through and say, hey, we want to do this, or sort of give an outline of like what their future's looking like, and like, oh well, what if we put in a co-op game there and it gave us more time with our main game, or whatever the case is. And there being a group from Software that was like, oh yeah, we'd really love to do that, because there are ideas we've had that we couldn't explore. So I think it's kind of, I do think that publisher definitely probably had a big say in it, but I wouldn't put out the possibility of developers also wanting to improve on what they've already put out, or give that co-op experience that they've never really been able to nail in a co-op setting.
And I think, like you say, like it feels like a celebration of From Software, right? Like I wouldn't be surprised if we also get locations, like, you know, like almost like Call of Duty did with their like DMZ mode, where it was like, oh shit, I'm in this COD 4 map all of a sudden. Like, it's kind of built into the world in such a way. I could imagine that kind of thing in this. Whether or not they do it, who knows? But I don't really think there are any hints to that in the trailer. But like you say, they're bringing back these iconic bosses that you can just stumble across from essentially other franchises, right? Dark Souls. But yeah, like, feels like a lovely little like celebration of what From Software have done over the last 15 years, and really kind of breaking through into the mainstream now. And yeah, I'm excited for it.
Me too.
But why isn't it Bloodborne 2?
That's after this. Next up was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's coming to Xbox. I lied. It's PC. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Why would you say that?
I'm sorry.
How dare you?
I don't know. It looks great. It looks fantastic. I'm happy it's coming to PC. It gives me an excuse to replay probably the best game this year. It's okay, Matt. You can pull faces. Yeah, I'm happy. Good talk.
You sure you're happy? You don't sound happy.
Me, I'm pumped. So I'll be honest. Any like, I'm always looking for an excuse to be able to go back and play games when they come out again. Because again, I'm not really someone who does old games old, right? Like, and that is the truth. In 9 times out of 10, that is the case. And that probably is the case with this as well. When this finally drops on PC, I probably won't pick it up day one. But when this goes on sale to about £20 or in a couple of years, I will 100% buy this and the original and do a full remake, replay, you know?
2 questions.
Yeah.
On PlayStation, did you notice any particular like performance issues or anything?
No.
Okay. I remember some people saying like it looked a bit shit.
No, they put an update after that. They put an update out and fixed that pretty quick.
All right. Okay, fair enough. Question 2. Oh my god. Did for remake, did they bring out any extra? I know they did Crisis Core, which was like kind of.
No,
like,
Crisis Core is a whole separate game.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Matt. I'm a Final Fantasy expert. What questions you got for me? I can
Definitely
answer.
not a Resident Evil expert.
That's a fact. But Final Fantasy Crisis Core is a game that takes place with Zack, and that happens before Final Fantasy VII.
What's Fix? I'm forgetting. What's Zack's mentor's name?
Zack's mentor's name. That guy. It's been a while since I played that game. You know,
Good
back
talk,
on the
good
PSP. The question you're asking, yes, we got integrated, which was the Yuffie DLC. So we are waiting.
And we think we'll get something like that for Rebirth, or we don't know. We don't
See,
care.
this is I don't know the answer to this question because I haven't made that part of the story yet.
They could. Well, integrated wasn't a part of the original game either.
No,
It's just
but
they use it
it's
as
the
an introduction to Yuffie.
Oh,
Yeah,
but, okay,
so they
okay.
could use it to they could use it to like expand on one of the characters we don't get playable yet. Story or
So there's
something
more
like that.
characters to come?
I'm not telling you. I'm not saying anything.
Why? I'm asking.
I'm not saying anything.
If you want a little bit of insight on the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth ending, and you don't care about spoilers, or you've played the game, then you can go to the FGS YouTube channel and watch an interview that we did with the director of the game, where we got him to react to those final iconic scenes.
Just ask Crash. He's beat the game.
He didn't direct the game, though, did he?
He ain't beat it either. He ain't beat it either. Don't worry about it. This
Yeah, I
guy.
got my plug in early.
Well done, well done, well done. Next up, another game that Matt's definitely going to care about. Catley. Matt?
I think I missed this while it was happening. What is this?
Wait.
Oh, no, this is the sexy cat game.
This is... what the fuck?
Why?
We were up at 2 a.m. covering this stuff. We were like, do we cover the sexy cat game? We were like, no, we should
Yes.
the sexy cat game.
You didn't cover it?
No, we didn't do anything on it.
This would
Maybe
have
we
done
should've.
numbers. This 100 must have.
Especially if you call it the
You
sexy
talking
cat
about
game.
you talking about one little watermark in the corner when something's an ad? It's a motherfucking ad. There's no way Jeff was like, yes, let's give this 3 minutes in the show, or actually 54 seconds.
53. Yeah, 54.
I don't know. This game gave me Artful Escape vibes. I saw it and I was like, this is madness.
really?
He did. He said this. He did say this. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, I expected
I'm
more.
not
I
into it.
expected more. Can't lie. I expected more. Next up, we got Project Untitled. There's like this. This was an Untitled game, right? This was
Yeah, this is from the Shadow of the Colossus Ico
yes,
developer.
Last
making a
Last Guardian. Their new title. Obviously, they're industry veterans. We didn't get much from this trailer, to be honest with you. If I remember rightly, it was like the person climbing up
mechs.
the mech, and Chris was like, "It's a mech game," and I was like, "Is it? Is it a mech game?" He's like, "Well, they're flying in a
Flying around
mech."
on a mech head.
Here we go. Here he goes again. Okay, and like
Flying around on a mech head.
like I said, I don't know if that technically makes it a mech game, but yeah, did nothing for me, unfortunately. But we shall see, I guess. I bet you it's one of those games that come out, everyone's gonna love it, everyone's gonna scream at me why I didn't play it, and it's gonna be in Game of the Year discussions.
Well, you'll all remember, of course, that The Last Guardian, their last game, was in development hell for a long time.
It was.
in development for, I think, almost a decade.
Yep.
So, yeah, I wouldn't expect to hear anything more about this soon. I probably wouldn't even expect to get it on PS5.
That's good. We're an Xbox podcast.
Well, it'll be PlayStation, won't it? So
Why? It doesn't say anything
no,
about
there's
it being
nothing saying that
PlayStation.
it's exclusive. PlayStation
And
would not
PlayStation
possible.
and PlayStation will let us know. Let me tell you.
have they ever put a game on Xbox?
No, but like
I mean, the industry's changing.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, in 10 years' time, PlayStation might not be around anymore.
It's not gonna
They'll come exclusively to cloud streaming.
Okay, sure. Next up is one that Xbox players will care about, we'd imagine. The Outer Worlds 2 got its world premiere trailer. I actually really enjoyed this trailer. It got me way more excited for the Outer Worlds 2. It looks like more Outer Worlds, I will say that, but it was just it was very much a video game trailer, right? Like, we've got more, and it looks pretty, and it was just like, yeah, thank you. Don't try to bullshit sell me anything. Just tell me
yeah.
this, and this, and give me the money type situation. And I did say to Crash, I can't lie, after playing, not enjoying Starfield, I do feel like I'm going to give this more of a chance now. Because clearly I don't like that style of game, so I've got to give one of this style of game more of a chance, you know?
Yep.
But
Yeah,
very good trailer.
Yeah, I thought it looked interesting too, and I think I'm kind of on the same bandwagon with you, where I played some of the Outer Worlds one, but it sort of disinterested me relatively fast. I'm more interested to try this again after trying Starfield, and also with how interested I am in Avowed. I'm sure Avowed will affect my opinion on whether I really want to try this a whole lot as well,
Sure.
with how that game turns out.
Yeah. Coming to PlayStation 5 now, confirmed. Wasn't
Yep.
confirmed before. It was only ever said to be Xbox, but confirmed now for PlayStation 5 2025. Doesn't seem like there's going to be any separate date or anything like that. It looks like it's just a 2025, here we go.
I don't think that's that weird for this game, since the first one came out on PlayStation as well.
I don't think it's weird. I think
of all the
Xbox is just confusing me right now, to be honest, mate.
That's fair. But
Like,
I think of all the games that have come to PlayStation, this is the one where it's like I got the least amount of questions or asterisks or anything with.
I think my issue is just the lack of consistency when it comes to Xbox at this point. Like, bringing games to every platform, I'm finally over it. Cool, no issue. But just give me something to understand. Like, is it going to be a 6-month thing? Is it going to be a day and date thing? Is it going to be... Because, like, with PlayStation, at least we know their games are going to end up on PC eventually, right? And you can usually work it out a certain amount of time after release they come out. With Xbox nowadays, you just don't know when it's coming, when it's not coming, if it's coming or going. Like, the only thing we do know is it's on Game Pass. And then I hate their branding right now, which they're so smart. But like
everything's on Xbox.
No, but yeah, I know. Everything's on Xbox. But it's like Game Pass.
You know,
Ultimate?
a really cool thing. Final Fantasy Rebirth coming to Xbox.
Everything's on Xbox.
Everything's on Xbox.
Even a PlayStation.
I'm gonna put it to the test a bit over this kind of next week or so as I'm sort of traveling to see family and stuff for Christmas. Taking my iPad, taking my Xbox controller, probably taking my Kishi, and I'm probably going to try and dent Indiana Jones and maybe Stalker 2 via the cloud. That'll be the first time I'm putting like serious hours, I think, into games on cloud. So we'll see how that goes.
Interesting. We shall see. Next up, we have Joseph Ferris's new game. I think this is probably my game of the show, if I'm being totally honest. I'm putting my flag down. Joseph and his team are remarkable. I like the way he spoke before showing this game as well. I think Crash nailed it. Do you remember what you said, Crash, to me at the thing?
I don't remember exactly what my wording was. It was good wording. I remember that.
You said
it was something along the lines of.
You said along the lines of like he found his voice. He's rolled it in, and he knows how to now market not only himself but the game. And yeah, I think you said it better than that, but I agree with you implicitly. Like, he's figured out how to speak to a audience who for a moment there it was a meme. It was funny, ha ha ha. He's the funny fuck you Oscar guy, right? And then he put out 3 bangers, 2 bangers.
Yeah.
3.
Since Fuck the Ox would be 2.
Yeah, 2. Okay, 2 bangers. Yeah. But he also still keeps taking shots at EA as well, which I kind of like.
Yeah, he's more polished while still keeping like that same essence about him.
Yeah.
He's still like the same what's the word? It's the same aggressiveness, it's the same stuff. It's just it's toned into a way where it doesn't feel messy.
Yeah.
Or before, like when he first came in the Fuck the Oscars stuff, like it was funny, it was haha, but it was also a little bit messy, where he still keeps that tone in a lot of stuff he does. It just doesn't come off as messy anymore, which I think is very good. And I think you need a personality like that, and gaming hasn't had that up until this point with him. Not that I can remember.
And not only that, everything he puts out so far from Hazelight Studios has been good. Not even good, if I'm being honest with you. It's been fantastic and amazing, from my perspective. And this next game, Split Fiction, looks no different. It looks like an absolute banger of a game. The premise of it is that these 2 characters are being sucked into these multiple different worlds. The trailer pretty much shows a bunch of different scenarios that the characters are going to get themselves in. Each level looking like it's going to be a multitude of different things happening as well. It's not like, okay, and now this is the jump level, and now this is the skip level. No, it's like 1 minute you're playing as a banana, next minute you're a ball, know, but these are throughout the level. 1 minute it looks like you're snowboarding, next minute you're on motorbikes. Like, it looks nuts. It looks nuts, but in the best ways, and it contextually looks like it all makes sense as well, which is key.
Yeah, it's super exciting. Sorry, go on, Chris.
I'm very, very excited for this. I think it is, for me, the best, or the concept they've made that I'm most interested in. I think the mashup between fantasy and sci-fi and how they do it and the way they do their co-op experiences, I think it'll be a really unique thing, and they're already showing it to be incredibly unique and creative. And I think with this, they put themselves on a very high standard of just creativity. I don't think there are very many studios who approach games from the same view as they do and knock it out of the park the way that they do consistently at this point.
Agreed. Matt?
Agreed. Again, there are some people in the world who have played this. If you go to the Kind of Funny Gamecast, where they review the Game Awards, Andy Cortez and Snowbike Mike have played this. They both speak very highly of it. They both sort of talk about the studio being fucking crazy, and them just being like, hey, if you have an idea, send us the idea. It doesn't matter how batshit it is, like what state the prototype is in, we're going to try and implement it into the game, because they want that same feeling of, you know, It Takes Two, when all of a sudden one of you's flying a plane while doing a fighting game on top of the plane with a squirrel. Like, that's the kind of energy that they've taken forward into this, and you can see it as you're kind of rolling around as a hot dog in this game while the other person's a pig or some weird shit like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's super exciting. I think, like, from a story point of view, I was initially more intrigued by It Takes Two. This idea that, you know, the pitch essentially of you are mum and dad who've been shrunk down into the toys of your kid. I'd feel like that elevator pitch is so much more exciting to me than you are a couple of fiction writers that have been sucked into a book or whatever. But everything I'm seeing, I'm all in, you know. So, like, no complaints. Very excited. Can't wait to play it. Could it win Game of the Year? Could Joseph Ferris become, and their studio, Hazelight, become the second ever studio to win 2 Game of the Years?
Yes.
Is this supposed to come out next year?
Is it next year or year after? Are you saying if it comes out next year alongside
If it's next year, it's not
GTA,
winning.
you're fucked.
Yeah. If it's next year, like,
I don't think we
you're
got a
not.
date. We didn't get a date, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. So,
Yeah.
like I said throughout this entire showcase, no one's putting a single date on anything until they find out when GTA is dropping. And we
Yeah.
will have a scarcity of games, because GTA could come out a week before and be like, it's out next week. And then every publisher will scramble to find a date after that. So,
I don't think there's any way they do that, but yes.
no, I know, but I'm just saying. Next up, you had Steel Hunters. This was... What one was
The
this?
robot game. It was the mech game that was a little bit more slower paced. That
This is the one
could
you
have,
liked.
like, yes, that until I found out it was multiplayer, and then I was
Yeah.
disappointed. Yes.
Chris likes mechs, but he doesn't like multiplayer mech games.
Yeah, I don't want to sweat it out. I just want to have fun beating up the AI.
This next one I didn't actually see. I missed this one because my internet decided to take a poop, didn't it? Midway
Yeah,
through this
yeah.
trailer. But this was the Long Dark 2, which is a game that I always wanted to play and never did. Very, very much a me type game, I will say. Did you enjoy the trailer for this, boys? Did you watch it?
I thought the trailer was great, and then it was The Long Dark, and I went, oh, I didn't really like The Long Dark one.
Yeah.
I got less excited.
Once I think it was Yami said that it was Long Dark, he had guessed it. I completely tuned out to the trailer because I wasn't a fan of the first game.
But it does look great, and maybe it's different enough that I care, or like will give it. I'll give it a go, I'm sure, but I wasn't overly excited yet because I didn't really like The Long Dark.
You never played the first one, Fix?
I haven't, no, that's what I'm saying. It's a game that I thought it's a game that's very much a me game, but I just never got around to it. So maybe I will with number 2. Another very much me game, Borderlands 4. We got our first look at Borderlands 4. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah, everyone knows how much of a Borderlands fan I am. I am a big Borderlands fan. I do really enjoy the Borderlands game. But I have said a multitude of times that Borderlands still feels like a 360 game. Borderlands, as a franchise, it still feels like a 360 game. It doesn't feel like it's adapted with the times. It doesn't feel like it's matured. It hasn't elevated. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think this has done it any help at all either. It just looks like more of the same. And in one aspect, I get it. because if it ain't broke, it don't fix it. It makes a shed ton of money. We already know that for 2K. But yeah, this trailer just didn't do anything for me. I didn't like any of the characters. I didn't think any of the new design characters looked that interesting. It just you could have showed me this as an expansion, and I would have went, oh, it's an expansion for Borderlands 3. And that's doing it a disservice, obviously, because I know there's a lot of work that's gone into this. But it just doesn't do anything for me.
There were a few gameplay moments where I was like, "Oh, that looks interesting," but then I immediately remembered Borderlands 3.
It's Borderlands.
That happened with me in Borderlands 3, and it's like, you're right. And you said this to me before Borderlands 3. I remember you were like, "You're getting excited for this, but it's just more Borderlands."
Yeah.
And I played it, and I was like, "Oh, Fix is right. It's just more Borderlands." And that's sort of my mindset with this game. Is no matter what I see, the graphics look better than Borderlands 3 graphics, right? They look improved to a degree. Is it crazy improved? No, they want to keep that art style, which makes sense. The art style is iconic for them, whether you're a fan of it or not. I just don't see enough of a growth for me, somebody who's completely at this point disinterested in Borderlands. The only way I pick this up is if Fix says, "Hey, I really want to play Borderlands with you." I'm like, "Okay, I'll buy another Borderlands game for you, Fix. You better play this one."
Yeah. Matt,
I think for me, like, I've played Borderlands, but I've never like been in love with it. I guess like from a game point of view, I don't expect them to reinvent the wheel, so I don't really care. I think I would have been more excited for this trailer if it focused way more on story. Like, who are these Vault Hunters? Who's going to be the big bad? Who's your Handsome Jack?
Handsome Jack's in this trailer.
Oh, is he?
He's at the end. He's the I'm pretty sure he's the tease at the end. Like the post-credit scene, that's like them teasing the... Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I don't think he'll be the main bad, but I think he's going to play a huge role.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the defaced Handsome Jack, even though I thought we killed Handsome Jack, but I don't remember, I'll be honest.
Well, that's kind of where I was coming from.
Yeah,
so I assumed it wasn't him. But...
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I could be totally wrong. This could be a totally different person, but I kind of... I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
But like the thing I think I like about Borderlands is that it, at least tonally, is doing something very different to a lot of other games, right? And I didn't really get any of that from this trailer.
No.
You know, like it just feels like a run and gun shooter thing. And so it's like, give me that like prove to me that you've still got the humor and the things that make Borderlands unique. I suppose they don't need to prove it, like, you know, whatever. But like, yeah, I just thought it was a weak trailer for a game that I'm relatively excited for.
I agree with you on the story, though, for me. Like, it was like, okay, more Borderlands. And it was like, okay, how are we telling this story? We telling this story through voice again, where it's just a person in the top right corner talking at you the entire time. And, like, are we changing anything? Or are we just like, nope, this is what Borderlands is?
I would assume it's going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
I would be hard-pressed to think they change it.
And don't get me wrong, I'm going to play it. And it will make my top 10 list at probably about number 8. And I'm going to say me and Haley had a fantastic time while playing through this game in entirety. And then I'm going to be done with it. And that's what it's going to be. And I think I just got to be okay with that is what it's going to be. Makes me sad. Next up, Clive has been announced for Tekken 8. Good trailer for him, I'll be honest with you. It was a very good trailer for Tekken 8. Got me excited, and I don't even play Tekken. You gonna go back and play it, Chris, just for him?
Yep. What's his face from Final Fantasy 13 was my favorite character in Tekken 7. So
I love what's his face.
In this.
Yeah, my favorite.
What's you play Final Fantasy 13, the main character? Why am I forgetting his name? Final Fantasy 14, not 13. 14.
What is the MMO?
No, not 14. 15. I ignore me.
Oh God, not Cloud.
Noctis.
Wait, Noctis is in it?
Yeah, Noctis is in Final Fantasy 7.
I didn't know that.
Tekken 7. Yeah.
Yeah, I did play Final Fantasy 15. Never forget. That's the game. Ain't it wild? That's the game that got me into Final Fantasy.
Brotherhood.
15.
Driving
boys in the car. Boys being boys.
Boys in the car.
Boys being boys, man. Boys being boys. Next up, you had Splitgate 2. Yeah.
Splitgate.
Yeah, cool. Perfect. Mecha Break. One I did pop for. Virtual Fighter's back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
Bizarre.
that was
What?
shocker.
I mean, was there any world crash in which you thought you get a new Virtua Fighter before you got a new Killer Instinct?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna get Killer Instinct anytime soon. So yes, in most worlds, yeah, this was just shocking because it kind of came out of left field, out of nowhere, and then on top of that, it's being made by the Like a Dragon team as well, which was shocking as well. It's just surprising. I think it's really cool, really dope. I've never played Virtua Fighter, so I don't have a lot of affinity for it.
Yeah, Virtual Fighter for me was a game that I absolutely adored on the Sega Saturn when I was a Sega kid. This was one of the games that I played. So I've told Crash I will kick his ass at Virtual Fighter.
Probably.
Really?
I think so. In a while.
Fix plays me within that first week.
Oh,
That
well,
first week
obviously,
was
you know that. That's the only
Yeah.
time I ever have a chance. If you get beyond that, it's over. No way. You're a sweat. You're gonna watch some videos on YouTube or something, you loser. Next up, Project Century. A game that really made me think. Matt, maybe I'm wrong because you're a much smarter and more well-rounded human being than I.
Yeah, that's a given.
But I said, you know, when I think about like 1915s and like
Sure.
this time period,
Yeah.
my mind never goes to other countries.
Like they didn't exist.
Like they didn't even exist.
Yeah.
It only goes to England.
Like
that-
right
is
up
that-
until like what World War II is what you're thinking is like.
It must be, yeah. Like there's no
Yeah.
other country that's so wrong of me. But I don't, but again, it shows how stupid and dumb I am as a
Except for little
human.
pockets. No, I get it. Except for little pockets like cowboys.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Ancient Egyptians.
Yes, yeah.
and Romans, and then you're like, yeah.
Vikings.
It's all movies and it's all movies and pop culture. That's
Yeah.
it. Like basically, if you've got Gladiator or like a big tentpole thing,
Yep.
it's like okay, that time period exists, and if
Yeah.
not, I have no idea.
No. But yeah, I think that was the. Sorry, go on, Crash.
I was gonna say with Japan, whenever they do go back in time for Japan, it's always like, oh, we're going to like the samurai era, the
Yeah.
Like,
feudal Japan, not like this time period as well.
Yeah, it's cool.
This was awesome because like it made me have that realization of like there was a world out there before.
His whole mind was blown.
It was, to be fair, I was kind of having a moment, weren't I? To be fair, like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this is crazy. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this game. Just to live in a world in a different time period that my small pea brain hadn't thought of before. And obviously done by the same team that does the Like a Dragon as well, which is Ryuga Gotoku. I've said that wrong, I believe, but yeah, looking forward to this. It looks amazing. I'm hoping the name isn't going to be Project Century. I hope it obviously will have a better name for it, but really enjoyed the tone of this trailer. The gameplay as well looked pretty good, to be honest with you. We didn't see too much. Obviously not turn-based though. Action focused. Yeah, look good.
Do we think it's a Infinite Wealth Like a Dragon game? Not Infinite Wealth, but
Like
Dragon
I-
game?
No.
possibly that could be why they didn't say the name, but I don't. Even if it ends up being in that world, I don't think they call it Like a Dragon. I think that'll be like one of the twists of the game. I don't think they're gonna give that away.
interesting.
Yeah.
What if it's Sleeping Dogs 2? Like Sleeping
Bro,
Dogs?
what the hell?
Don't say stuff like that.
What the hell? Not even what the idiot?
So out
Get
of
out here.
pocket and like
Get
just
out.
making me sad. Like we're
No, when
Dogs
it came
2
up, I
now.
was like, this gives me Sleeping Dogs vibes.
It
but-
did. I don't. It give like I don't disagree with that to a degree.
Thanks, Crash.
Sure, Crushes. I'm glad Crushes humoring you. Another game that I got pretty early, to be fair, and I got a lot of these pretty early. But Turok is back. What the hell? Like, why is Turok back?
They brought back Turok.
It's
They
the-
bring back Turok every now and again. There was a 360
the-
Turok game.
It's
that
the
was
biggest old
10
school
years
dinosaur
ago,
game.
20 years ago, Matt.
Yeah. Why not? Dinosaurs are cool.
Turok Originals. This looks very good. Co-op. it looks like what I would expect a modern day Turok to look like. So I'm all about it. Why are Universal involved in this though? Do Universal own Turok?
Possibly.
I
I don't know who owns the IP for Turok.
No, being made by Saber though. Saber Interactive, I believe. So unless they've rebranded just as well. Yeah. It looked good. I will play it. I'll give it a go. But Chris did make a very good point on the live stream that there's a lot of dinosaurs coming out at the moment. There's only one game we care about when it comes to dinosaurs, though, Crash.
That's not what I said.
That's what you said, Crash. You said that.
No. I said now would be the perfect time if they were ever to put out a Dino Crisis that they should put out a Dino Crisis.
Yeah, the only time you care right now is the only Dino Crisis you care about. Got you. Okay.
I don't.
That's what you said.
I care more about Arc 2 than I do Dino Crisis. I care more about Arc 1 currently than a future Dino Crisis game.
That hurts. I can't lie to you. That definitely hurts. All right, let's start moving through some of these because I didn't realize there's actually a lot more to go. Helldivers 2, Omens of the Trirani. I hope I said that correctly. New gameplay for that. Are you gonna go back, Matt? Do you reckon? Do you reckon you could go back?
I don't know. I went back. So they were nominated for some golden joysticks, so I had to go in and get some capture for nomination videos and stuff. And I didn't love it. Obviously, I was playing on my own. You know, you need people to go into Helldivers with. You need a crew. So I don't think I'll end up going back now. But it looks cool. It like has like Terminator vibes, and they're like, you know, cool machines and stuff wandering around. It looks badass, but need a crew.
Agreed. Next up, which was Warframe 1999. Crash, you said you were going to go back. It's out now. It came out the day after. Did you go back?
I went back. I played the 1999 stuff. I did the quest. There's a bunch of other stuff added to it. We'll talk about it whenever we do not guess that game, but what's in our box, which
next week.
We're not doing today.
Next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got too much to get through.
Then.
Okie dokie. Power World getting its next update, the Firebreak update. I have said by the end of the year I want to play some more Power World. So if anyone's interested, hit me up because I would like to play more. I do think I haven't given that game a fair shake. For my top 10 list yet, so
probably try sooner rather than later. They are being actively sued by Nintendo.
I mean, they've already taken out the thing they're being sued for, though.
Yeah.
Have they?
Yeah, you don't throw a ball anymore.
Oh shit! Really?
They've got rid of that.
Yeah.
It's gone. It just sort of pops up. Nothing.
I think you still throw the ball to catch them, and I assume.
No, you do like that to retrieve it. It's sort of like like it comes back into something in the hand. But yeah, you don't throw the ball out anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
Very. Speaking of genres that were coming back, though, Onimusha is back. Onimusha, Way of the World, Way of the Sword, sorry. I missed the word and saw World Premiere. Way of the Sword. I was an Onimusha fan back in the day, PS2 days. This looked very good. I like what I'm seeing, and Capcom be nailing it right now. This looks way better than that weird other game that they put out. You know, the colourful one that I didn't like the looks of. So, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, no, I agree.
These type of games are definitely making a resurgence as well. Like, anything
like
in
samurai
this
games or
third-person sword-based action.
Sure.
Not just, I don't want to just say samurai, but like those, something that looks like a Dark Souls / a Demon Souls / a Elden Ring, but without that, it doesn't play like that. But some people could be confused by it, 100%.
Yeah, it's becoming slightly crowded. Like,
Oh,
if you showed
yes.
this next to Phantom Blade Zero, next to Ghost of Yotai, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, we're really leaning in on this game. I know they're all different games. I get it. But, like, a lot of them coming out.
I think that's part of the problem, though, right? Like, they look similar. I think that's kind of what they hope for as well. It's like, did I play that? No. We'll play
People
again.
have been yelling at Assassin's Creed for a decade to do a samurai game, and they're like, okay, we'll do it. And there were like 10 others at the same time.
Yeah.
The next trailer we had was the first Berserker. This was introduced by the Russo brothers. I believe they Did they cut together the trailer or something? If I'm not wrong.
Did
They
they?
directed it.
Yeah,
they
something
directed
like
the
that.
CGI trailer.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't. I struggle getting too excited for something I don't know. If it's just a CGI trailer, like The Witcher, I can get excited for because I know the caliber of the studio and I know what they're setting up. This tonally looks really cool, but I don't know.
You've seen gameplay for it.
Oh, we
so
have?
It felt like this was 100. Yeah, this was 100%. Like we talk about, like having ads in the corner. This was an ad. This wasn't like we're here to show off our game or anything like that. This was like, hey, we're here. We got the Russo brothers on camera. We're here to like sell you on our game with this one.
Yeah.
Makes sense. My first toilet break game came up next. This was the Arad Dungeon Fighter. I'll allow Crash to talk about this because this is definitely a him type game.
It's a gacha game with gacha characters, and you're gonna gacha
And-
all over the game. You know?
And what else is there, Crash? Bounce. There's bounce,
physics.
Crash.
There's
There's
physics,
bounce.
There's bounce. Yeah.
There's bounce.
There's bounce and
There was a lot of bounce that I wasn't expecting. There was a lot of
Yeah.
bounce that I wasn't expecting.
How do you think they get people to play gacha games, Vix?
Crash, I ain't got a clue. I generally mean I don't know how they get people to play these games. No way. No way. Next up, we had Dying Light, the Beast. I liked the look of this next trailer. Way more than the first one. A lot more story, a little bit more background on what's going on. Graphically, it looks amazing. I have to say, like the demo they put together for this was really, really, really good. First game is gonna have actual guns and stuff like that in it as well. For Dying Light, so I think I'm gonna play this. Usual Dying Lights usually make me feel very sick. I'm hoping I can avoid the parkour a bit more. I'm not saying altogether, but I'm hoping it won't be as, like, I don't know if you've ever played Dying Light before, but like well, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm hoping it's more on the floor if we can, please. You don't think so?
Doubt it.
Yeah.
It's the USP, innit? It's their thing. It's a zombie game with parkour. Mirror Edge meets Dead Rising.
It's just parkour.
No.
Matt's not incorrect with that.
It's Mirror's Edge meets Dead Rising.
Yes.
No.
I'm talking about like the density of zombies and the like.
You parkour and you
not
kill
the humor and
zombies
stuff,
with
but, like,
weapons that have like electricity that you put together. Matt is not incorrect with that at all. Just take out the humor from Dead Rising. Matt's not wrong about it.
So what's no? I'm not even doing it. We've got too much to get through.
No, the reason you don't like this is because you like Dead Rising, and you're like, what?
I think tonally they are so.
Yeah, I agree with you. Totally, they're very different.
But it's mechanics. It's parkour with you killing a bunch of zombies. Would him saying it's Mirror's Edge meets fucking Dead Island make you happier?
Yes.
Okay,
That would make me
there
a
you
lot
go.
happier because that makes
Okay,
more
there you go.
sense.
Less people know what Dead Island is.
No, they all saw that first trailer. They didn't play the game, but they saw that first trailer.
All right, well, that trailer doesn't tell you anything about that game.
It sold the game to me. And Haley. We bought 2 copies of that game because of that
Sold the
trailer.
game to a lot of people. It got a lot of
It
people
was
for
crazy.
as well.
That's the biggest gotcha I've ever been a part of, I'll be honest with you. Next up, Hunt Showdown. They showed the Post Malone content, posties in the game, yada, yada, yada. The next game was definitely an ad, which was the Squid Games game. This was the Netflix one. It looks terrible, if I'm being totally honest with you. I don't think this looks good at all. And it's a shame because they have an IP there that they could have done something really, really cool with in like Fall Guys style, and they've gone with a more mobile-friendly approach. Let's say that.
Yep.
Netflix owns the IP, so makes sense.
No, sure. We had Stage Fright, which I think its presence on the stage was probably the best showing of the entire showcase. Like the way they presented this trailer on the actual show, because they actually utilized like the screens and things of that nature, which were really good. I didn't really get the whole not showing the gameplay though. Like if you've, we don't really know what's going on too tough in the game. But yeah, I did like what I saw to some extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows, right? Like you say, the way they used the stage, the cinematic and stuff was nice, but it doesn't really tell you much about the game. I guess other than it's going to be split screen co-op, I guess you can assume that from what they showed, but like, who knows?
It gave what's the other game we talked about earlier?
It Takes Two.
It gives very like It Takes Two vibes.
Yeah, I agree.
To it.
But not as good.
Quite to that level. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is that sort of approach to the game.
Yeah. All right, let's try quick. Game of Thrones. We'll let you go, Matt. You're a big Game of Thrones fan.
Was super in until they were like, it's coming to PC and mobile, and then it was like, oh,
they said mobile. I completely missed that.
We did assume it though, didn't we? To be fair,
mobile. Yeah.
I was
still holding
it.
on a little bit.
Yeah.
Not mobile.
Double Dragon Revive. Double Dragon's back. I'm sure me and Crash will definitely play that. That's definitely a us game. Solo Leveling Arise. Crash.
It was an ad for a gacha game.
We got to cut these ads next time. The Last of Us 2 Remaster is coming to PC.
I thought this had already happened, or whatever.
Matt?
It got remastered, I'm pretty sure.
Me too.
Yeah.
I thought this
got like a
happened.
re-release, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, okay, sure.
So, yep. Den of Wolves, that generic shootery game that we keep watching with, yeah. No.
Completely turn, like, I'm not looking forward to even more information on this game. I'm just out completely at this point.
I'm with you. I don't think I'll ever download this. Unless they come with a really big bag.
Fair. They might.
But, oh, they definitely could.
You might see every streamer playing this.
Yeah,
you will.
But not me. I'm not that big, unfortunately. Not a few days, for a few hours. Relax, my dude. They'll all be playing at the exact same time to have the biggest CCV, and then everyone will switch again. So, new Sonic Team Racing Cross Worlds teaser trailer. I know Matt's in for that one.
Very teaser. I like a kart racer, and I'm assuming that's what this is going to be.
Doesn't have to be karts.
Well, I just mean it ain't going to be Forza.
I know. I'm sorry. Mafia.
We're fighting now.
Mafia the old. Yeah, I know. You just read Dead Rising. It's over. Mafia the Old Country got a brand new world premiere trailer. I'm excited. I love Mafia. Oh, here we go.
This means that 2K are going to launch Mafia and GTA 6 in the same year.
No, they aren't.
Obviously, GTA is going to move out the way to make room for the much bigger game, Mafia.
GTA gets
Old
pushed.
Country.
The fact that we've gone now more than a year without hearing anything about GTA, and now they've said Mafia's next year. Does GTA get pushed into 2027?
They didn't say Mafia was next year, though.
Did they not?
They said
summer 2025. You're right.
But to be fair, 2025, like, I don't think they would have a problem releasing it in the same year if it's like 6 months apart.
Sure.
I don't disagree. I think, like, the way that Take-Two have been publicly talking about their earnings predictions and stuff for next year, I don't think they can bank on Mafia doing that for them, and so then pushing GTA would factor into that. But like
NBA,
it just seems...
Borderlands, Mafia, GTA.
It's a huge year, but it's not like
we also
take GTA out of that. It's not the billions that they're talking about year. You need GTA in there if they're going to make their sales targets.
Have we figured out who has the FIFA licensing yet as well?
It could be. We have assumed it's 2K. We've assumed it's 2K.
You throw that into the money earnings as well as whatever else they have planned.
Bro, Crash, you reminded
that includes
me.
Borderlands.
That's crazy. We're gonna get a FIFA game again.
Do you think?
Yes. Oh,
Sorry.
FIFA are absolutely screaming right now that EA have like just left them.
I didn't articulate that well at all. What I meant is, do you think?
Mix does think.
How do you think that audience splits?
EAFC is not a great game.
Do you think EAFC takes a huge hit. Like as I agree with you, I think that most people don't know or care that FIFA has gone to a different company. They'll just be like, I always bought FIFA before, I'm going to buy FIFA again.
I don't know about. I get what you're saying from like a different. I know I've got to take my head. I've got to take my gamer hat off for a second there, right? And go, yeah. When little Timmy says to Nan, "I want FIFA for Christmas," and Nan walks in the store and buys FIFA and doesn't buy EAFC 26.
Yeah.
And then Timmy's like, well, that's not what I wanted. That's what you got, Timmy? And then he plays it, and he's like, oh, this is just as good as the AFC, and it has my ultimate team, my whatever version of ultimate team that is there. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it's like EAFC dies and FIFA's back.
No. No.
I think all of a sudden that audience is very split in a way it's never been before. Like Pro Evo
back in the pro days.
Dented.
Yes.
Did it?
Oh, Pro Evolution was killing FIFA for years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Pro Evolution Soccer, 6, 7, 8, like before that, ISS, Pro was the game, bro. And then
I didn't know that.
20, oh god, I could get this wrong, but I believe it was around like 2013, maybe 2011, 2012, 2013, around somewhere around that. It just took a switch. And FIFA, because the problem was the licensing. Towards the end there, people had just had enough. But that's not going to be the issue. You're going to have 2 football games out there in the world that will both have the licensing.
And of course, rematch from the team that brought you Sifu. So
of course.
We know which one's going to end up being the best one, correct?
Rematch all day
Shout out
long,
to
man.
Rematch.
Rematch all day long. Next up, we had Dispatch. This was...
the superhero game where you work in the office and you're...
Oh, yes!
Telltale, yeah.
Yeah, with all the fantastic voice actors by the Wolf Among Us team. I got really excited for this one. Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, this looks very, very, very cool. I'm in. So, that's all that matters. Did we get a date for this? We didn't, right? 2025. 2025. Oh, fair enough. Next up, we had a very big build-up for this next one that was very flat for me, personally, because they kind of presented it as it was going to be the last thing, which was Okami. A sequel to Okami is finally come in. We kind of got a teaser trailer with a whole orchestra built in to making it all happen. It was a lot for Okami, if I'm being honest.
Not for all the old games that are coming back, from the Animushu to the Virtual Fighter to all those, Okami is the biggest one by far.
Sure.
It's not even like a competition between all the games coming back.
But it's very games industry, Jeff Keighley, your FIFA fans don't know or give a fuck.
For
what
sure.
Okami is.
But I think that's what a lot of this showcase was. I think
18 years.
I think for everything they've done and the whole the history and we've been here, all this stuff, I think this is a fitting, the build up for it is fitting within the context of the showcase.
For sure.
The problem is the second you leave the context of the showcase, it's like, oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, totally agree.
But yeah, it's coming back. Congratulations. Then we got Crimson Desert, which, sure, I didn't care for it. I'll be honest with you. I was tired by this point, though. I'll be honest.
This game always looks good. There's obviously an insane amount of money behind it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good. Black Desert plays very well. I assume it'll play at least as good as Black Desert. So.
I think it'll be like Dragon's Dogma, where people go, "This is a lot of fun moment to moment." The
Okay.
story is that shit, and I don't give a fuck. And all
no,
these things.
it won't. Nothing will be as there will never be as big of a disparity as there is in Dragon's Dogma 2. We're not putting that on any game.
Interesting.
The
That has
gameplay for
such
this
a-
did look good. You're right. I did forget. I just saw the movement in it for one moment. I was like, oh yeah, the gameplay does look good. You're right.
Yeah, it looks great.
I don't know if this is coming to Xbox though.
I believe it is.
I think it will.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
believe
remember.
it
You
is.
would have thought so. It's Capcom, so you would have thought so.
You'd have thought
And then gone.
Crimson Desert is not Capcom.
Oh, Capcom. Sorry, I didn't mean to say Capcom. It is who is publishing that?
I don't know who's it's made by Pearl Abyss, which I don't know who the publisher of it is.
And then last but not least, now don't worry about it, Crash. Last but not least, Matt, something I'm assuming you're very, very excited about. And most of the gaming industry was and probably is. I haven't watched anyone's reaction to it at all though yet. But Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet by Naughty Dog. This is the next Naughty Dog game. We've been waiting a while to find out about it. Let's hear from you first before we get into me and my opinions. Talk to me.
I'm incredibly torn on it.
Because
Because like Naughty Dog are at a level where you go, you just give them the benefit of the doubt. This is gonna be great. It's Naughty Dog. Like, the story's gonna be brilliant. They're gonna try and potentially say something new with the story. The gameplay doesn't look like it's just guns or whatever. Like, it looks maybe a bit more action focused, just because I guess it's a sword or whatever, a laser sword.
Yeah, I think it's come out that it's like supposed to be a hack and slash game. I believe.
Fine.
Don't quote me on that, but I think
So I'm like, cool. Give them the benefit of the doubt until we see more, until somebody gets it in their hands. I'm just going to assume it's going to be great, and that's probably a good place to be. But nothing about this trailer excited me, and actually probably concerned me more than anything else. Like, I think leaning into all the licensed stuff, Porsche and Sony, obviously, but like Adidas, and having Kumail Nanjiani in it, I'm like, none of this is exciting to me.
Yeah. Go on, Crash. I'll let you go first because this was the big one. This is the big one. So
yeah. I think I'm gonna echo your sentiments. I think I wasn't excited. I got a little bit excited, and then I fell out of excitement. The only I think Naughty Dog, like it being Naughty Dog, got me more out of excitement than anything. The only Naughty Dog franchise I really like is Last of Us. I'm not a huge Uncharted fan. I'm not a huge Jack and Daxter, Crash Bandicoot. I liked when I was however years old that I first played it. Anytime I revisit those games, I'm like, these games don't play fantastic.
What do you not like about Uncharted?
The gameplay. I think it's some of like the most boring, bland gameplay I've ever played. I think it's like they made a functionally well game that doesn't do anything interesting. Like, yeah, narratively, I think narratively the Uncharted games are very, very high up there, but I don't play games just for a narrative. If that was the case, I would enjoy walking sims to a degree. I don't enjoy those games for a reason.
That's kind of where I'm at. Is like I agree with you that I don't think Uncharted's gameplay is particularly phenomenal. I think the evolution of gameplay from 1 to 4 shows like this massive leap, and then The Last of Us, I think, is like,
I agree.
Well, what more could you do with that gameplay? I don't know. Like,
yeah,
like, perfection is maybe too much to say, but like, it does exactly what it should do, and it feels good. Even the elevation from sort of Last of Us 1 to 2 in sort of, I would say, like level design and sandboxness of the areas and stuff like that, I think is phenomenal. And so, like, they've always been good at narrative, always from Uncharted days, been good at narrative. Their gameplay is top tier. I'm just like, brand new IP, sure. I'm just going to assume both of these things are great.
Which I think is a fair assumption to make. Like, they regardless of how I feel about them, I think they are very much at the center of the industry to a degree for a lot of people.
How do you feel about it?
Space. Heartbroken in a sense, if I'm honest with you. I am a huge Naughty Dog fan. Like they are. I consider them one of the best game studios, in the world, like many others. And yeah. It's hard. Like, again, it's none of the thing the internet are hating on. I don't give a crap about. I don't care. I don't care about the license stuff. Couldn't care less. Sure, let's do it. If you getting paid, are we getting some ad money in? Good. We gonna make more. We gonna keep people in more jobs for doing this? Then sure, let's do it. Like, I don't give a crap. Main character, don't give a crap. Doesn't bother me. It's just space. I'm not a space. Everyone knows I'm not. You have to make a really fucking good game for me to enjoy space.
Question: I believe the description of this, or the text they put out about it, is like main character is stranded on this planet. It would be odd to have a poor spaceship that you can't get in and fly around in, but that might be the case. Like you might be stranded on planet the entire game, and it might all be about escaping this planet.
I hope
If
so.
that's the case, you're more in.
I hope
Like
so.
it's just like stuck on alien planet, you're way more in.
I highly doubt you're highlighting that Porsche spaceship
I agree.
and not using it. You know, like yeah. I
Yes,
mean,
it just becomes this, like,
I'm the opposite
stranded
of Crash,
show.
by the way. I'm the opposite of Crash. I play games for narrative. Like I love narrative. I love stories. I love the way video games tell stories. I love the fact that I feel a part of these stories, like I don't in films or TV or a book, because I just can't read. This is how I get my stories, right? Like my pea brain opens up when I see 1915 in Japan. Like that's the world I live in, is these games. And I think for me, it's just, I don't know. There was this. It seemed it's such a weird feeling. Because again, I get most of my news now from TikTok, right? And just seeing people not hyped for a Naughty Dog game
Yeah.
is wild.
I think it's also like very different from anything Naughty Dog's done. I
Yeah.
think if we got something in the vein of like a modern Naughty Dog game with a new protagonist and a new city doing normal-ish stuff to a degree, right? This is just so out there. You start off, you see all the throwback stuff, you see the Porsche, you see all space, you see everything that just doesn't scream Naughty Dog and never has, right? This is even if you go back to like Jack and Daxter, it's not that sort of sci-fi experience. This is very different. And so I can see people not being excited for it until you see gameplay. I think once you see gameplay, once you get a different trailer, because this was really just an introduction to the concept, I feel like, as opposed to like, we don't really get introduced to the character to a whole degree. You get some nuance to them, but you don't really see much. I don't think there's much to be excited for, because it also wasn't at a PlayStation showcase. I think if this was at a PlayStation showcase, the perception of it would be very, very different than it was here.
Yeah, I want us to. We can't have it now because we don't have time. But I want us to have a deep conversation maybe next week about like woke and stuff like that. Because I do feel like we are getting to a very interesting place. Not that I think any of this is woke, by the way. Like, oh my god, you play as a female. Who gives a goddamn? But like, the internet is this game. This got 9.5 dislikes on YouTube and
But what you got to
2.4.
remember, and
likes.
these people we haven't heard from in a while. I mean, we have, but in different context. But like, there are people who hate The Last of Us Part 2 because
That's true. That's actually
Yo-
very true.
spoilers for The Last of Us Part
You're
2.
fine. Yeah, spoil it.
Joel dies,
Yeah.
like, in a pretty brutal way to a woman who is jacked, and then like goes on this like what you would say is like a Terminator-esque sort of revenge mission type thing, right? And like
Yeah.
has vibes of those like old school sci-fi, like Ripley and like Sarah Connor and like these like like a very different female character, right? And like those are the people who are coming out and being like, fucking Naughty Dog, of course they're doing this woke bullshit, shaving your head. And it's like none of us thinks this matters, right? Like we've had, like Alien is a good example of like a female lead fucking badass, and then like more recently like Mad Max Furiosa, and like fuck off. These are just like cool characters in cool worlds. Like surely we don't give a shit about this. But I think a lot of those people who are still angry about The Last of Us Part 2 are diluting this hype conversation around a new Naughty Dog franchise.
Gotcha.
I
So,
also
yeah.
think there's a subsect of the internet that they make money off of this narrative.
Oh,
and
that's
so they very
100%.
much so
Yeah.
bleach into that narrative and like spread sort of toxic like bullshit that isn't even accurate about it just
Yeah.
because it helps their bottom line.
You're
And I
right.
think that definitely plays a part as well, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Oh, go ahead, please.
I was going to say, my biggest fear with it, I think, is that what you've got is this like cool sci-fi concept from a studio that really prefers to hang on the like emotional side of things. Like maybe I'm well off, right? But for me, the closest thing that I think it feels like to right now is Horizon. weird, crazy sci-fi concept. But I feel like what you're going to do is try and ground it in reality and make it a bit too real. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then lose the fun. Like, for me, Horizon is not fun, which is mind-blowing because it's about robot fucking dinosaurs, and it should be the most
They're
fun
definitely
thing
not
ever.
fucking. They're definitely not fucking. That's crazy. There's no
this
fucking
is-
in that.
This is why when you play Horizon, what you do is you ignore the story and just go out and hunt dinosaurs and have
Sure.
fun.
Sure. But Naughty Dog ain't that, right? Naughty Dog ain't ignore the story. And so, like, I don't know if like, I don't know what is going to drag me through this story. Because at the moment, it doesn't feel fun, like a funny, like you would say Uncharted feels fun.
Yeah.
That's not the vibe.
I
get
agree
from this
with you on
trailer.
that. Yeah.
But you've got one of the greatest acting comedians currently in what I'm assuming is a central role of your game.
Well, you would have
In
thought
Kumail.
so, right? Yeah.
Maybe he's the antagonist, and maybe it's going to be a very different kind of role for Kumail. Who knows? Like, but that's kind of what I worry about. Is like it feels tonally like you're going after some Last of Us kind of deep feels, like I don't know, angst and all this stuff. But you're going to set it on an alien planet with pop music and Adidas high tops, and they feel like competing things to me. Like it's not
Yeah.
Uncharted fun. It's not Last of Us dour. What the fuck is
Now,
it?
now that you mention it, like looking back at that trailer, there is sort of even within the trailer and the tone of the trailer and the characters and the way they hold themselves, there is the competition between the way they're doing throwbacks and the actual like content in it as well. Yeah, wow, I never looked at it from that perspective. That is a little bit worrying, but I'm sure the vision they have, they'll end up tying it all together really well. I think it really depends on the planet you're stranded on.
It's Naughty Dog, right?
That-
You have to.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I said, right? Like, it's Naughty Dog. You give them the benefit of the doubt. They're going to nail it. Until they don't. Like, they've nailed their last 6 games. Like, is that easy to say? Maybe more,
Uncharted 4,
right?
5. No, yeah, 7.
7, 8.
Well, no, I'll
I mean,
give you.
take it back to trash.
It depends if you count like there was a Last of Us spin-off game, weren't there? No, Uncharted spin-off
Oh,
game.
there was, which people really
The people
liked. That got
they liked it. I don't know. I never played it.
yeah, that got.
I love
Oh,
that
so then
got
you could
reviewed
say
well.
even more than that then.
Exactly. So they're like, they just don't put a foot wrong. So you just got to assume they get it right. You know what also reminds me of now we've been kind of talking about it and stuff is you remember iRobot with Will
Yeah.
Smith? Where it's
Yeah.
like he is living in this futuristic world and he fucking hates it. And he like wears Converse All Stars and listens to music from 2004. He's cool and he hates the future and all this stuff. I'm like, that could be an intro. Like, I didn't get much of that from her in this trailer, but like that could be a cool idea. And she just hates robots because she likes Adidas.
I just want to see the
I don't know.
documentary that comes out from this.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Like, do you
Is it-
think like, we're not going to do anything else? This is what we're going to end on. We'll do questions and that for next episode because otherwise it's going to be crazy. Do you think they were expecting the response that they've gotten? Like, do you think they knew? Like, okay, we've already done like these strong female characters, and again, to us it means absolutely nothing. I'm just talking about it from more the haters out there. Like, do you think they were like, we don't give a fuck, we're gonna make what we want, we're Naughty Dog. Like, we're not gonna keep pandering, we're not gonna start pandering now and changing because of the response. Do you think they knew they were gonna get this sort of response?
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
do you think it is getting to a point where it is actually going to affect the bottom dollar?
No.
As
I think
long as the game is good.
I was gonna say, I think what we've seen is like, as long as the game is good, what ends up happening is the game is good, it sells well, and then that same group finds reasons and excuses to why that game does well that doesn't exist within the woke idea. And then when the game does poorly, it's like, oh, that's a woke game and it was bad because it was woke. And I think that's the line it'll fall in. And Naughty Dog's just like, we're not playing that game. We're gonna put out whatever we want. We're gonna make the game that we want to make, and that's that. I think they're just like not engaging with it by ignoring. I think you could say ignoring it to a degree just by doing what they're doing.
Like, yeah, like the stuff that's in The Last of Us Part 2 with like characters like Lev and Abby and their relationship and stuff like that. Like, it's all just so well done and so interesting. I don't know. Are people out there being like, "This is woke bullshit. I'm not playing it"?
Yes.
I know there are people out there saying like, "This is woke bullshit," and I don't like that you killed Joel and wah wah wah.
I don't
But are they
like. I don't like they killed Joe either.
But are they like? But you still appreciate The Last of Us 2
Of course.
as a phenomenal game.
Absolutely.
I-
I just
You're
like
not
Joe.
boycotting Naughty Dog. Like,
No.
you're probably going to play this
I-
game even though you're not a space guy.
Oh,
Like,
of course.
I don't think people enjoy feeling an emotion that they don't want to feel. So the moment Joel dies, they're like, I hate this because I don't like it.
Yeah.
You can have stuff that you don't like and it be well done in a narrative. Like that doesn't dictate that it's a bad narrative.
Agreed.
But there is an interesting. So, like, you know, this is always less successful in TV than it is movies, right? Making people feel bad because you're making people feel bad for an extended period of time. And these are, you know, people who can't detach themselves from this is fiction.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter. Like, you've invested in this character. This character is now gone. It's like Game of Thrones has an element of this, right? Like where it spins and kills a few of your favorite characters, and a lot of people will drop out of the show at that point. Walking Dead did this.
I did
as well,
that.
when
I
they
did that with
introduced
Walking
Negan.
Dead.
Exactly. And people will drop out of the narrative at that point, and you've lost those people. In a movie, you're only asking those people to stick around for 2 hours, so it doesn't matter. People did this at the end of Infinity War when the Avengers lost. There were some people who were like, fuck this. And that their value in their favorite superhero character is that superhero being good at superheroing and winning at the end of the day. It's less important when it's in a 2-hour movie. It's far more important when you're on the sticks playing that character for 20 hours.
I think it's important when it's done poorly. Like if you look at Game of Thrones, you have a lot of moments where like characters die in Game of Thrones. It isn't until the writing becomes bad that people are like, I'm out because this character died because it didn't feel valued.
Yeah.
So
I
I
feel
think if you
cheated
don't
as a
play the rest
consumer.
of if you don't play the rest of Last of Us 2 and you stop right where Joel died, that feels you don't have the value. And maybe you can make an argument that they should have had the back half of the game first and then the front half.
Have you seen the guy on TikTok that broke down that entire game?
No, I haven't.
Okay, there's a guy on TikTok that I've watched like 17 parts of this video series he's doing, and he pretty much rearranges the entire game and then pitches what he would have done instead. And I'm like, I can't lie, hearing him talk about it, I was like, holy shit. He makes some really good points about certain elements of that game that I'm like, huh, I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah.
I think it's so interesting, right? Like so for me, you have some of this with D&D, right? Where the idea of a session 0 of D&D is to establish what this game of D&D is going to be about. More often than not, it's like, this is a fun adventure. None of you are going to die. Like, I'm going to keep all of your characters alive. Unless you don't want that. Like, do you want real peril? Do you want to potentially end this campaign of D&D where only one of you's left at the table telling this story and the rest of you have all died? And
9
you could
times out of 10,
make
the
your
answer is no.
characters Most of the time, nobody plays D&D like that, right?
Yeah.
They're playing it like Lord of the Rings. Like, I want to ride
Yeah.
a shield down a staircase and shoot an orc in the face with a bow and arrow. And I'm like, well, do we do
Or-
that, or do we do the realistic thing where you were in a battle, you got cut with a sword, now you've got gangrene, you lost your
He
arm?
died.
Yeah, like, do you know what I mean? Like there are two ways to play that, right? I think The Last of Us very early on establishes itself as a we don't fuck around universe. Your
Yeah.
daughter dies in your arms in
Yeah.
the first 5 minutes of that game. This is what you're in for. But then you go through the entire game playing as a superhero, as a dad superhero, like sort of like making up for that mistake at the start in saving Ellie over and over and over and over again. And then you start the second game and you don't. You lose. And a lot of people can't deal with that for the next 25 hours of a game, especially then when it makes you play in the shoes of the person who you lost to.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. What were we talking about? Oh, the new game. The new game. I don't know what
I also hate the
I'm getting
title.
at. Sorry?
I also hate the title.
The Last of Us Part 2?
No,
Oh,
No,
sorry.
no. Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet.
agree with
I
that.
think you either go Intergalactic or you go the Heretic Prophet. I think
I-
going Intergalactic.
think
with
both
the
of them
subtitle is
suck.
weird.
I'll
I
be
think
honest.
Actually, it's kind of a perfect thing of what we're talking about in terms of tone. if it was just called Intergalactic, I'd be like, oh, this feels way more upbeat. It feels way more Uncharted.
Yeah.
I'm more leaning on the music and the Adidas shoes and the Porsche spaceship. The Heretic Prophet, I'd be like, oh, this feels more Last of Us. It feels more dour. It feels more. And so the fact that you've got them both in the name, I think is really interesting. What the fuck is this game tonally? Like, I just don't know.
Well, graphically, it looks very serious.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Very
But then
serious.
your mentor's an eye patch, and
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's not that serious. For me,
But
an eye
I think
patch is
that's just
funny.
the sci-fi vibes of the 90s coming through. Like I don't think I take any of the design choices that might be serious, because like the 90s, when you take a look at like serious, it was over the top serious. It was comical serious almost when you look back at it to a degree.
I'm just watching you, making sure you're talking about the 90s correctly, alright? Be careful when you talk about the 90s, Crash, right? Be careful.
Why would I gotta be? You're not.
I'm a
What are you
90s.
gonna do?
I'm a 90s baby. I'll come and find you. I'm just letting you know.
And what am I?
I don't know. What year was you born?
I was born 1995.
92 here, baby. You already know. Anyway.
God, you're an old man.
Ah, Jesus. But you, not that much older. Not that much older.
Yeah,
Look,
but you have
I
to-
think I still think there's a lot of conversation to have about the Game Awards. But we've done a 2-hour podcast, and I've got to do Christmas shopping. So we are gonna plug and get ourselves out of here. I bet you I've just got a text from Haley being like, "You ready?" Like, what the hell? Matt, plug me. What you got?
I tell you what, go to FGS. We got some cool stuff coming out over Christmas. We did at the Gold Joystick Awards. We got together some of the biggest independent developers all together in one room. Developers behind games like Citizen Sleeper and Sea of Stars and Animal Well. Billy Basso made Animal Well on his own. The people who made Tiny Glade. We got them all together in one room to chat about the state of the industry and what the hell is going on. Super fascinating chat. It's coming out on Boxing Day on the FGS YouTube channel. So check it out.
Okay. Crash.
My Xbox and Me podcast services. Review. Kick Nance. Kick whoever you got to kick to leave a review for the podcast. We have not had a review since earlier this month. Oh no, there. No. Yeah,
We don't have a new one either. We don't have a new one. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, keep the questions coming about what we've discussed today. I think that's a big one. I'd like to continue this conversation with Despawn here, and I think there's a larger conversation happening nowadays in the games industry as a whole, especially with this Naughty Dog stuff. So yeah, keep the questions coming. We will answer your questions from last week on next week's episode, which is good because there'll probably be no content now for the rest of the year, to be honest with you. Are we doing Christmas Jumper next episode?
I was going to say, we're going to bank some stuff. We got to chat about that offline.
Yeah, I think we're doing Christmas Jumper episode next episode. And also, last but not least, start sending in your videos. I want them landscape of you saying who you are. No, 30 seconds. I need 30 seconds. All I need is, hey, I am MC Fixer, and my game of the year is X because of bum bum bum. That's all I need from you. 30 seconds. Do not go over. If it is longer, it will not get on the Game of the Year episode. But start recording them, landscape, and we'll pick some of the best ones and feature them on the show. Beginning of January, the first week in January, the first Friday in January, Game of the Year, My Xbox and Me. We will crown our champion from the game score, which Matt has escaped with once again this week. Guess that game. And yeah, until next time, I'll love you. I'll leave you. I'll see you all later. Good boys.